It's time for some great short track racing at Sunset Speedway in Innisfil, Ontario. Get ready for some heart-pounding action with their highly competitive hot rod division, featuring also bone stocks, modifieds, junior late models, super stocks, my personal favorite, the mini stocks, and pro late models. Don't miss out on their yearly classics, including the Hanley Classic, the Steve Slaughter Classic, Allen Lincoln Cup, and many more exciting events. We want to see more of those cool power drag races. Visit sunsetspeedway.ca for ticket information and head to the track for an unforgettable racing experience. Looking to level up your race car's look in 2025? Well, look no further than Imagewraps.ca. The team of Craig and Doug Hamrath specializes in creating amazing, detailed, and creative graphic designs and wraps that are sure to turn heads at the racetrack. As huge supporters of motorsports, Imagewraps.ca understands the importance of having eye-catching and unique designs to stand out from the competition while showcasing your amazing partners. Trust us for the best deals and quality in the business to give your ride that winning edge. You have to visit Imagewraps.ca today and let them take your racing experience to the next level.
Machines and the thrill we find. KMK and Braden taking the reins. Grit and glory racing through the veins. Stickers and scuffs, revving it high. Motors roaring, the sparks will fly. Talking to legends, stories unfold. The need for speed never gets old. Never gets old. Engines scream as the questions roll, chasing the edge with a heart of coal. From the asphalt kings to the dirt track dust, racers unite in the name of trust. Stickers and scuffs, revving it high. Motors roaring, the sparks will fly. Talking to legends.
Hey everybody, welcome back to the Stickers and Scuffs podcast for a special Father's Day edition. It would make, the most sense to have a father and son on this episode. And why not go with a father and son duo that has done a lot of winning over the years, and a lot of winning this year especially, as right now Josh Davenport is the most successful Stickers and Scuffs racing family member this year, with 7 features across Ontario, plus a huge win in Charlotte Motor Speedway. I don't know, Greg. I think that's our
run with it.
first ever feature win at Charlotte Motor Speedway. Todd, can you say that you ever got a win at Charlotte Motor Speedway?
No, I honestly I'm living through my son.
Yeah, I'd love to know, when is it that you guys decided that Josh was going to go racing, or was it kind of inevitable?
Well, it was Josh actually put the thing together. He did the investigating, and I'm not really sure how it got brought up, but Josh says, "Hey, they're racing bandos down in Charlotte. We should see if we can get one and go down." And it all started as a big joke, and then Josh reached out to a couple different teams, and I reached out to Kendall Sellers at AK Performance, and I called him, got a voicemail. He called me right back. We talked for a bit, and next thing you know, we were on our way down to Charlotte.
Nice.
And then it just works out, I guess. I mean, you're down there. Brexton Bush is racing. You've got all the big names in Charlotte racing, and
yeah, it was pretty. We were pretty blown away. We felt like little peas in a pod down there. It was they're race crazy down there in North Carolina.
We can't
race these cars every night of the week. You go somewhere and race. So we didn't know. We didn't make a public announcement because we didn't know what was going to happen, whether it was going to be a flop or what, till we got down there. And then Josh was racing, and next thing you know, he went across the finish line and he won, and my phone just blew up. I didn't realize there was so many people back home watching. It was amazing, the support we had. I kind of wish we would have maybe did a little announcement, but we're actually supposed to be there right now to finish up the deal because we got rained out on the second day. Josh put it on the pole on the second day. Then we got rained out. But Kendall just texted me and says, "You're batting 1,000 for decisions right now." He said they're under rain delay right now. So we are planning to go back. I believe we're going to go back June 30th in the July 1st, Monday and Tuesday, 2-day deal. It's weird. I don't know how. I can't put it into words, really. It's kind of a dream. Josh is amazed what he did down there. Like, he's in the beginner class, which is fine. But those kids that are down there racing, they've already raced 30 times this year. And there is a lot of kids. There's 192 cars down there between Vandals and Legends. There's, I think, 22 in the beginner Vandal class. And I would say probably 3/4 of those kids have raced a bunch of times already this year. And the support, they were great. Brexton Bush was pitted. Him and Kyle were right behind us in the garage that we were in, and Brexton came over and was talking to Josh just as if hung around him all season. It was really they're down to earth people. It's just everybody's friendly down there, and they're all wondering who's this kid from Canada. So
yeah, and that's
pretty surreal, pretty amazing. It's a dream. It's a dream for me, and a dream for him.
Yeah, and JD, for you, man, like Cam and I both have watched you really kick butt in that car behind you right there at Sunset, at Sauble. You and Tommy Gibbons have yourselves some really awesome battles, and you guys are literally like watching you guys wiggle around in those things with no suspension and jumping into a bando where it's kind of leveled up in terms, like, you got suspension, you got a bit of setup to play with, and then you go and put it in victory lane in Charlotte. What does that mean to you, bud?
I mean, that meant so much to go down there and win. It honestly opened my eyes up. I went down there just thinking to go down there and for the experience, but then I just kept finding tenths in practice and stuff. I qualified second and fell back to third on the race start, passed somebody, and then the leader spun out right in front of me. And then a lot of cautions that race, led the rest of the race, and just coming across the line, I didn't know what to think. Like, when I got out of the car, I was just, lost for words. I wasn't expecting, to come down there and win at all, so I just didn't know what to say.
Well, that's pretty cool, man. And as you said, Todd, too, it's going somewhere like you didn't make a big deal about it, and Josh, you're the steering wheel holder. You go down there, and it's just like any other weekend, I would think. Once you're in the car, it's just you got a job to do, and you know how to do it, and you do it to the best of your ability. And it doesn't matter how attrition works or whatever. Like, you came out on top. A flag's a flag, and we can all agree on that. And it's like you have your name etched in some sort of racing history that you're a good Canadian boy that won at Charlotte Motor Speedway. That's rad, man.
Yeah, that was an awesome feeling doing that. Like, it was pretty cool to see the amount of people that were messaging me, my dad, and the post on Facebook. It felt pretty cool.
Yeah, I know. I saw it. I was like, oh my God, this is super cool. And I know when I was at just last or 2 weeks ago, I guess we had an off week at Sauble Speedway, but popping into your trailer there, Todd, and seeing you up at the fence and stuff, I can feel that kind of enthusiasm in person when we're at the track that you're a proud dad for sure. And just having your kid win on a big stage like that, that's not that, like, not taking anything away from Sunset and Sobel and everything, but you guys took it on the road and took it to the big dogs and took a checkered flag home. Like, how cool is that to be a dad with a kid in victory lane at Charlotte?
Yeah, I still get choked up every time I talk about it, but
No doubt, bud.
yeah, I'm very proud of him. Like, we didn't know what to expect. You go down there, we're just hoping to finish a race.
Yep.
And then he pulls off a win, puts her on the pole the next day, and then it rained out. We were pretty devastated when it rained, but you can't control Mother Nature, so
that's right.
We're going to go back down, and we're going to finish what we started. So,
and every race day has a plan, and very rarely, to my experience and in my brief experience, does it ever go 100% the way you think it's going to go. And
sure.
To go down there, like, where you just had that reasonable expectation where you just want to go down there and run with them, keep everything in one piece, but then to go out and, like, on a day where you exceed expectations and over deliver, like, with a flag and a trophy, like, that's one extreme to another in terms of keeping it real to, like, let's party.
Yeah. I have some people that might come down with us when we go back. The only downfall, man, is it took us 14 hours to get there. That was it's a long drive, but it's no different going on vacation, I guess. But we were crunched for time, and we left. We raced at Sobel, came home, loaded the car, got up at 3:30 in the morning, and headed south. So, not knowing, never met any of these people. Never met, didn't know anybody from a hole in the ground. They didn't know us coming in. We pull up to the garage, get out of the car, and we're like, okay, I'm Todd. This is Josh. Where's Kendall? He was standing there, and they basically said, well, there's your car, buddy. Get in her. We'll get you fitted in. And I got to thank Craig at Imagewraps for doing up some decals for us for going down. And we slapped him on the car. He got fitted in the seat. They set the chain tension, and they had the car totally prepared for us. We told them his height and weight ahead of time. Mm-hmm. But yeah, basically, and those things, they didn't have to do a lot when we were there to them, just minor maintenance stuff. It's a pretty neat class. When they were announcing coming into Canada, I didn't know what to think about it. I thought it might hurt the juniors, but I personally think now, after being there and Josh driving one up here, Josh says they're a hoot to drive. I think it's going to grow up here. I think it's a really good class for the kids that are, maybe like 13, 14, 15, 16 that don't want to go to a full-size car, A, for cost, and B, for, whatever other reason. I think it's probably going to grow up here. I don't know for sure what's going to happen, but it definitely opened my eyes in a totally different perspective than, not wanting them here at all.
No, that's a pretty good endorsement coming from you guys.
Yeah, I was going to say,
you guys are junior late people, right, Cam?
Yeah, like, I love the junior lates. It's a great class. Kids are all great. But, you take a kid like Thomas Gibbons, who's probably stretched up a foot in a year. It's pretty soon he's not going to fit in these cars unless you put a
He'll have to keep the hatch off and just stick his head at the top.
Yeah. We're talking like Dino from the Flintstones.
But I think I love the junior class. When I was younger, when I was racing, I couldn't even care to watch the juniors. But now I got a kid in one. They actually, honest to God, they put on a great show this year.
Yeah. Yes, they did.
Every single race has been back and forth. And even over at Sunset, it's been good too. Kind of, they overlap a couple nights, and we've been fortunate enough to. Josh asked Ryder White to drive the car at Sunset, our other car that's owned by the Wright family. and he went over there and won with it. Feels pretty good to have him do that. We might have ruffled a few feathers by doing that, but I said we weren't going to run 2 tracks this year, but it's hard to say no to a kid that wants to race. So.
It's a good point. It's a good point. And you know what? I think you guys had that advantage because Ryder's still short enough that he can fit in the junior lates. I mean, you mentioned it right there. I mean, one of the issues with Landon Sellers is that Landon can still race the junior lates, but he's too tall. He doesn't fit in his car anymore. So he's in the Bandoleros, just like, Josh has been in. And you know what? I'm curious about this, Josh, because you kind of went into this experience for the Bandoleros with no practice at all up here. What people might not realize is, yes, you won down in your first start down south, but technically you won in your second start here at Sunset Speedway with no practice ahead of time. You just kind of went into it that day. You really knew you were racing that day either. So that was a surprise as well.
Wheelman.
The biggest difference between junior late and Bandolero.
Well, so going into Sunset, I had no clue until about 5:30 Friday night. I went into practice. The first practice, I got 0 laps at all, which sucked. Went out for the second one, got 5. Just getting comfortable with the car. Didn't really get a lot of time to try out different lines and figure out a couple things. So I went into the first feature not knowing stuff. I started, I think, 4th. Drove my way up to 2nd. I was chasing down Keegan a bit. He was moving pretty good up front, and then my teeth snapped off my gear, which led to a mechanical failure. So I had to pull off, and after that, I was pretty frustrated. So in the second feature, I was a man on a mission going out there. And my only goal was to win.
Well, you did, and that was in one of the closest finishes we've ever seen.
Love it.
It was a phenomenal finish at Sunset. And the one thing I really want to ask is where the interview skills have come from, because I remember your first interview when you got your first win, and it was a lot different from what you're like now. You seem so confident in when you do your interviews post-race. You name off your sponsors like Trevor Culver does at Delaware. Like, you can just name them off. Like, no.
You get enough of those flags, you get good at it.
I guess so, right? Do you have to like practice your speech or what? Like, you've got it down pat, and it shows that as young racers, there is something working here, because it reminds me, I don't know, Graydon, if you agree, but Cole was the same way. Cole Camrath was the same way. Jake was the same way. But Kyle Steckley and Trayton Lapsovich talked exactly like this at that young age, where they can just name off their partners, thank everybody, have a good speech, and do interviews like this where they sound a lot older than they really are. Josh, how old are you right now?
Oh, I'm currently 12.
12.
Get out of here.
12.
Yeah.
I could never sound like that at 12 years old, Graydon.
I say he takes after his mother in the talking. So,
but it's got to, like, Josh, you play other sports as well, where just professional development, whether it's in a race car or in a competitive atmosphere, you're always developing. And you're at 12 years old. My kids are getting on like 15 and 17 almost now. So, I mean, you're at an age where you're absorbing, whether you know it or not, but I mean, the amount of material to absorb to polish those skills, I mean, that's part of it. I mean, you've been in victory lane a few times, and it's just, it gets easier and easier when you do it more often, when you have to rhyme off those partners. Amen.
Yeah, just I guess the practice of through the years, like I've watched a lot of like replays back of races. That's like one of my favorite things to do. Whenever like the pedal power videos or the Strawn Co videos come out, I'm always watching those on a Sunday at least 1 to 5 times, right?
Yeah.
So a big thing of me. I'm always looking at tape to become a better driver and learn from mistakes, and yeah.
And that speaks to a lot of what we talk about here, where it isn't just the driving. Like, you're doing the things that you need to be a really good all around race car driver and brand, in terms of being able to wrap off your sponsors at a moment's notice. And that goes a long way for every single one of them, I'm sure of it. And Todd, you can correct me if I'm wrong, but that's something that's every bit as important as the skills behind the wheel, is recognizing the people that help you do it.
Yeah, for sure. Because if it wasn't for the people, you definitely wouldn't be doing it. And
Absolutely.
the trip to Charlotte, Josh wrote up a letter. I emailed it out to a few sponsors. We didn't do a full-fledged deal; just we sent to a few sponsors, and they all jumped right on board right away. Because it's good feeling to be able to thank your sponsors. Especially down there, that was pretty cool, because it's nationwide, worldwide, really. You can watch it on the internet worldwide. So
big time. Yeah, that's not a tiny deal, man. Like, that's like, it doesn't matter necessarily that you didn't make a big deal about it. And arguably, I would say it's almost a cooler thing that you didn't make a big deal about it, because the internet's always there and you can always go back and see it. And that kind of shows maybe a bit of humility, in the sense that you were going there with just some realistic expectations, and then you walked out of there with a checkered flag, and you didn't really see that coming necessarily. So that kind of makes it, from probably, like, if I'm not wrong, Cam, our standpoint as media guys, that makes it a hell of a lot better story.
Absolutely, 100%. It is way better of a story that way. And you know what? I was actually live on Track Weekly when we found out that you won. Because luckily, Rob Ferguson was letting us know what was going on. So yeah, I kind of had a moment on the show going, "Oh my God, he won! Like, he won! Oh my God!" And one thing I also want to point out is Aaron Vanderbilt, mentioned to me a while ago, right from the beginning this season. His son Jacob is back into the junior late models and has been running at both tracks. And last year had his confidence shaken a little bit and was getting back into it. And one of the things that he pointed out was Josh Davenport helping and showing Jacob the lines of the racetrack. And for yourself, Josh, that's, again, when you hear a 12-year-old, you don't think of the 12-year-old showing the younger kids, the 10-year-olds, how to race, but you were doing that. What was it about that? Like, how did you decide to do that? Is that something that was done to, like, somebody helped you, or you just kind of felt that you wanted to help out? Did he come to you? Like, that's the type of stuff that we love to hear our SNS racers doing, is that they're helping each other, that they're helping the next generation. I would love to know how that came about.
Yeah, well, I love helping people, like every chance I get with, no matter if it's like the line or on the car. It's a good thing to do for people, like for people that are coming up through the younger ages. Like, I was lucky enough to start at an older age, and just helping some of the younger kids with like lines and stuff, because I used to be there too. I was new to junior lights and new to the lines. Jake Spencer Walt and Cole Camerath helped me pretty good with the lines when I came in, and they taught me some good stuff. And I always just try to help give that feedback and all the stuff I've learned over my couple of years racing back to the younger ones, so I can hopefully carry it on too.
I think I think that worked out pretty well.
Yeah. And being able to see you, like, when you guys do take the show on the road, where it's sunset or like, you guys are fun to watch, and you're right out front every time. Like, it shows the the skills and maybe some heredity there, Todd, that the kid's got some wheels underneath them and can make cars go fast. And the evolution of it, as we spoke to a little bit earlier, bandos are kind of another rung in the ladder, where you're starting to get used to suspension, and it adds another wrinkle to the setup. And by the time you start getting to the bigger cars, you're kind of hitting the ground running a little bit more, maybe.
Yeah, it's the Bandos. We still don't know anything about them. They obviously don't give out much information down there because
Right.
they got their program. They got their program figured out. It'll be a different story if down the road we do more with them. But they're pretty tight-lipped on how they set them up and stuff like that, which I totally understand, and I totally don't blame them. So, but it's like every other car, we had to help with Darren, who built this car when we first got rolling, and if I always got a question, I can call him up, ask him, and he'll give us an answer, or we try. The thing we learned with the juniors is small adjustments.
Yeah.
You don't do a wholesale change with a junior, or you'll be in the fence. It's they're very minute adjustments you have to make to them. Anybody who's doing crazy adjustments is probably going to be in trouble. But yeah, with the Bandoleros, definitely a lot more adjustable to them. But it's going to be a whole new ball game if we do go that route. Which we're still undecided. Our next step. Don't know. We may go Bando, may go Legend. I don't know. Josh thinks he should have a seat in my super stock, but
Yeah.
I got a few Gord Shepard, and who's really helped me with my program. Well, basically, he is the program. I'm just the driver, but he keeps thinking we should be putting a seat in it for Josh, and all his guys do too. But I don't know. I like to progress in baby steps a little bit, but I guess we'll see what happens. But our main
One of the
focus right
things.
now is
Yeah, go ahead. Sorry, Todd.
main focus right now is this junior and getting through the season this year, and our I guess another focus is going back down to Charlotte at the end of the month. So
Yeah, you got to keep it fun.
One of the things I want to touch on before we start doing some rapid fire questions for the two of you, because I feel like that's going to be fun to hear your answers between the two of you guys. Josh Davenport does have, I think, the record for the most amount of flips in a junior late model at Sauble Speedway. I believe it was I think you flipped twice actually. I think with Sauble that was the one that was nuts, and that's what really kind of blew my mind into. I'd never seen junior lates, but I saw it through Pedal Power, and funny enough, so that was my introduction to the junior lates, and actually for the entirety of Ontario racing, actually Todd was my introduction to that, because during COVID they had the Operation Green Flag on G-Force TV, and Todd won a wicked super stock race at Sauble Speedway, one of the best races. I still go back and watch it to this day because it was one of the best races I've ever seen. So you guys both kind of play a role in this whole Stickers and Scuffs being a thing. Now, obviously, Josh, yours was a little bit different. That really wasn't a positive, but it worked out in the end. One of the things that we're going to do here is a rapid fire, which is we're going to ask questions to you guys and you kind of pick your answer. And because we have a father-son, I thought it would be fun to kind of have a father-son and see the differences between you guys. Are you guys down for it?
I'll interrupt before. You guys may not know this, but I've been on my roof too, in my old super stock. So 2011.
Really?
You're not turning, you're not learning.
August 10th, 2011. So I remember that date. It was my dad's birthday. So yeah, and I guess Josh has got one more flip than I do, though. So I guess he's leading that.
Where was yours at? Sauble?
Yeah, I was at Sauble. Yes, it was just a racing deal. Rolled the wall and kind of rode it all the way up and over. I went and slid on my roof down the front stretch. So it happened. I felt like slow motion when I was in the car. I knew enough in my head to turn the ignition off when I was sliding down on my roof. Just because I didn't want the motor to run out of oil, obviously. But yeah, so Josh has got one up on me. I hope it doesn't happen again. I don't wish it on anybody.
No.
Yeah.
When he flipped, we were obviously very concerned and worried. But from racing myself, I know the safety protection that we have to wear is, it's second to none, but they make everybody wear it. I think it's great.
Yeah.
I knew he would be okay. He, maybe rung his bell a little bit, but I didn't know this till after watching it on Pedal Power. And that's why Josh said before he loves watching the videos that they put out. He actually stuck his hand at the roof and gave.
Yeah, he did. I was just about to mention that.
He did that, but
as soon as it was not right after he landed, he's just like, "Yeah, I'm cool."
Yeah, Probably his biggest disappointment he had after that flip was he's mad because he couldn't go back out and race that night.
Oh man,
that's
awesome.
We'll do some rapid fire questions between the two of you. So we'll see kind of what the differences are between the Davenports here. We'll start with, do you prefer the high side or the low side?
Well, on restarts, definitely the high side. Yeah.
There's a little Josh is giggling about that because he lost the race, the second feature, because he didn't take the high side, I think. That's a little discussion father and son had. And I was on the radio, and he chose. I said, "It's your choice." I said, "You got to live with it." So,
so Todd, I guess high side's your pick. High side would be your pick, Todd.
I prefer the bottom in a full size car. If I can't vouch for a junior because I never drove one, I definitely won't fit in one.
Oh, come on! Post race snack. You can have a post race meal or a drink. What are you going to first?
Well, if I got to pick, if I was anywhere, we're definitely going for a mom homemade burger. Right after the race, and maybe a blue G0.
Wow, he's got taste.
Yeah, bud. Nice.
What about you, Todd?
I usually don't eat after the races. I usually don't eat race day whenever I race, but I have to go with Josh. My wife's homemade burgers. They take the cake on that one. So beverage, just whatever's in the cooler, cold. So
there we go. What's the music on your phone?
Well, typically in the morning in the garage, me and my dad come out and put the car in the trailer and load up and stuff. It's typically whatever he has on in the garage, whether it's some old country music or some rock. So
yeah, it's a little bit of everything. Mixed rock, what kind of mood we're in. Could be Eminem playing too. So depends on what kind of mood we're in.
Yep.
What's the go-to streaming movie or show?
Well, for me, it's definitely Talladega Nights, Days of Thunder, or Gran Turismo. All the racing movies, right? I'm a big guy for racing movies and stuff, and that's a lot of the movies I enjoy.
I probably don't have a favorite movie, but Smokey and the Bandit, the old school back in the day.
Yes, Eastbound and Down. Let's go. Favorite racer in Ontario?
No family. It's got to be all the boys.
I didn't say no family.
Well, it's my dad, and it's got to be all the boys.
Todd Davenport.
It's got to be my dad, and then all the boys like Carter Camerath, Cole Camerath, Jake, Ollie, Tommy, just all the boys.
All the boys. What about favorite NASCAR racer?
Favorite NASCAR racer? I used to be a big Truex fan. Then he retired, so I'm a big Ross fan.
That's a good pick. What about you? Todd? Your favorite racer from Ontario and favorite NASCAR racer?
Favorite racer I love to watch race. Two of them, Andy Camerath and Gord Shepard.
Yeah.
Give those two guys a good car on a long run. I'll guarantee they'll be at the front.
Yep, that's a good one.
And I love watching Dale Shaw go too.
What about favorite NASCAR racer?
I don't really have one. I used to, but they're all pretty well retired now. All the guys I used to cheer for, but
Who was your guy?
Mark Martin.
Okay. Okay, we'll
Yeah.
go with Mark Martin. That's a good one. Prefer day or night races?
It's gotta depend what time of year it is. Like, if it's midsummer, I'll take a good night race. But if it's like Autumn Colors Classic, I'm definitely taking the late afternoon when it's warmer, because there's times at ACC that you're just freezing your butt off waiting in the lineup.
And if you get a bit of, like, things I'm learning too, you get a bit of dew on the track where it slicks it up, like it gets a little bit crazy, like where it's that dry heat, that's way better. You're right, JD?
Yeah.
Yeah. Sorry, carry on.
I'd say nighttime for me. Nighttime.
Yeah.
My old street stock or super stock, like back in the day, anything after 8 p.m., the car seemed to pick up 2/10. Don't know why. My old car used to name it midnight, because any late race, it was usually at the front.
I guess once you get the heat in those slicks, they draw all the moisture out of the track too, and the groove too, right? So it's man, that good old night race, and it looks good under the lights, no doubt about it. I mean, there's been some good action at Sauble this year, and you guys have been kind of the Josh, like, kind of day heading into night. Is there any difference for you guys, like, from the start of the day to when you go out for the features?
Yeah, well, normally at the start of the day, just depending on how the weather's been over the week and how the track's been. Like, if we got a lot of rain, the track's green. Or if it's got a lot of grip in it. We typically run faster laps towards our second feature, because that's when it cools down a little, and that's when we turn our fastest laps. When the motors are cold, turn more horsepower. So
we're gonna wrap this one up with who's the best trash talker between the two of you?
Definitely me. I'll run my mouth at him, but then he'll get mad at me and start teasing me or grabbing me or something. Yeah, I like to get him going, especially on race day. Get him all mad.
He likes to wind me up. I just, I call myself a washed up racer now. I'm out of my prime. My prime was 20 years ago. But I wish, I got videos, the old VHS videotapes. My wife used to tape my races all the time back in the 90s, late 90s and 2000s and stuff. And I wish my kids were around when I called in my prime. Like I used, racing with Danny Wright and a lot of the boys at Sauble, a lot of their kids, Tom raced with Tom Gibbons. All their kids are racing now, which is great to see.
Yeah.
Because if the second generation or even some third generation racers, if they're not going to get into it, I don't know what's going to happen in another 10 years of racing.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. The age-old question, I hear it a lot on the broadcasts on G-Force when you were racing and with Josh racing now, that the look of the 30 car was, people say it reminds them of the old John Deere ride for Chad Little back in the day. So I'm curious, the number 30, where does that come from? And was it actually based on the John Deere, or is it just your own look?
Well, I kind of, back in 94, 95, I think it was 95, I can't remember when I first started, but I was kind of a big Michael Waltrip fan when he had the Pennzoil yellow number 30. I really love the look of that car. My first year racing, my car was yellow, just like that. And then back in 1998, I think I painted like Chad Little's John Deere car. And we've kind of stuck with green and yellow ever since. Every year we try and change it up a little bit, but we farm here and we're John Deere fans, and I'm kind of partial to green paint, or green vinyl now, I guess. But there was always green and yellow paint on the shelves back in the day when I had to paint my cars. So
I absolutely love that we got to have you guys on the show. This has been one of the most requested and the long one that we wanted to have on for a while, and we're glad that this was actually this worked out, because we've been big fans, and you guys have been a part of the SNS family for this is your second year with us, and we've been blown away with how amazing it's been, and we're so proud to have you guys as part of the team, especially hearing when you have people in the garage tell you, who are the good people in racing, and they mention the Davenports. So it's been an absolute pleasure. We can't wait to see what is in store for the future. Josh, I'm telling you right now, the trash talk between you, Thomas Gibbons, and Ollie Ferguson is next tier amazing. Makes me chuckle all the time, especially because now you can kind of one up Ollie and say, "Hey, I won in Charlotte. Have you? That'll probably sting a little."
Well, typically, me and Ollie are on the same team going against Tommy. Tommy likes to start a couple things, but then me and Ollie like to finish them off pretty good.
I'd love to see, like you mentioned, talking about the legends. I feel like that's kind of the way things are going in Ontario racing, and I could see every single one of those kids all being in legend cars together. You add Del Freiberger into that, Cole Carter. Man. Like things are going to get real fun here, depending where we end up. But Josh and Todd, you guys have a lot of loyal supporters on the number 30 that have been on Todd's car, that have been on Josh's car. I'm going to let Josh do it because he's been doing a lot more of it lately. So, Josh, this is your time to thank everybody that helps make your program possible. The people and the partners. This is your time. Take it away.
Well, first of all, I got to thank my dad for all the time and work and all the driving that he puts in to my racing career. My mom for the support, my sister for the support. Just everybody, Darren for helping us with the car. I got to thank Elmer's Lighting Supply, Davenport Bee Farms, RBC, Shepherd's Docks, Just Foam It, Russell Fencing and Decks, Richard's Auto Service, Next Level Automotive, Ilium Industries, Duke's Performance, K&K Lawn Care and Pest Control, Imagewraps for making the car look awesome, Shells Wheel Racing, RF King, Blush by Rod & Co., JD Sweetcorn, BD Pumpkins, and Donut Designs.
He's doing pretty good at that. Wow, that was pretty good. Pronunciation and everything.
Yeah, wow. If it wasn't for the partners that we have, this isn't possible. You guys know that, and can't forget Stickers and Scuffs, Josh.
Oh, and you guys for having
You did, so he's out, Graydon. He's done. He's out.
We appreciate everything you guys do for the racing community. Everything nowadays, back when I was racing, the internet was there, but it's not like it is now.
Well,
yeah, it kind of is.
Yeah, it's
kind of all over.
It's something that we both definitely we love and we take on in our own ways. And man, I don't think we'd trade it for anything, bud?
No, definitely not. Seeing these young racers grow up before our eyes, from Josh getting his first feature to now doing what he's doing. We saw Jake do it. We saw Cole do it. And
Kyle Steckley,
Trayton Lapsevich. It's those small things that we love to see, and
pretty damn cool.
Exactly. I know we see Trayton Lapsevich go out and win down south, and we see Josh win down south. Like that's just the coolest thing in the world. So make sure people go out and follow the Davenport Motorsports team. They routinely post their social media updates on how their weekend went, and you can always count on some great pictures of that number 30 car. It really has a great shine in the sun. Danny McKenzie has a beautiful shot from Canadian Motorsports Photography of the sun just hitting it, and it's got a nice glare off of it. It's beautiful. One of the best looking cars out there, and of course, Imagewraps.ca, a loyal partner that is actually partnering with us for this episode along with Sunset Speedway. Thank you both for joining us for Sunset Speedway month, and the best of luck for the rest of the season. Josh, I don't know if you're going to get 4 championships this year, or 4 championships in 2 years. But as of right now, it's looking pretty good. You're already leading the standings in S&S with 7 features plus 1 down south. That's pretty good for this early in the season. So best of luck for the rest of this year. And thank you so much for joining us, guys.
Thanks for having us.
Yes, thanks, guys.
Yeah, man. I just, before we wrap it up,
Yep.
I just want to say, like, as kind of our Father's Day as a dad thing, that's pretty cool to see your boy out there and doing well and being a chip off the old block. So JD, thanks. We'll see you again real soon, I'm pretty sure. And Todd, we'll see you up at the fence line, I'm pretty sure too, bud.
Yeah, thanks, guys.
Thank you.
That is Josh and Todd Davenport here on the Stickers and Scuffs podcast.
Thank you for watching the Stickers and Scuffs podcast. Subscribe, share, and like for more Ontario Motorsports content.